The Galactic Arena. In a distant corner of the universe, the Galactic Arena stood as a beacon of strength and power. It was a place where warriors from countless alien species gathered to test their mettle against one another in brutal combat. The arena had seen champions rise and fall, legends born and forgotten. But in all its centuries of existence, no human had ever set foot on its hallowed grounds. The reason was simple. Humans were considered weak, frail creatures by the standards of the galactic community. Their soft, fleshy bodies and lack of natural weapons made them a laughingstock among the battle-hardened denizens of the arena. The mere idea of a human competing was enough to send the crowds into fits of derisive laughter. But one day, a stranger arrived at the arena's gates. He was a human, clad in a simple, unadorned combat suit. He called himself Zax, and he had come to fight. The arena officials were amused by his audacity and decided to let him enter, if only to provide some comic relief for the spectators. As Zax stepped into the arena, the crowd erupted in jeers and taunts. They hurled insults at him, mocking his appearance and his species. But Zax remained impassive, his eyes fixed on the battlefield ahead. He knew that he carried the weight of humanity's reputation on his shoulders, and he was determined to prove them all wrong. Zax's first match. Zax's first opponent was a monstrous creature from a world where the very air was toxic to humans. It had 4 arms, each ending in a razor-sharp claw, and a maw filled with row upon row of jagged teeth. The alien champion had a reputation for ruthlessness, and it had never been defeated in battle. As the bell sounded, the alien lunged at Zax with blinding speed, but Zax was ready. He ducked under the creature's claws and delivered a swift kick to its midsection. The alien staggered back, surprised by the force of the blow. Zax pressed his advantage, using his smaller size and agility to outmaneuver his opponent. He darted in and out of range, landing punches and kicks wherever he found an opening. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the human held his own against the alien champion. In the end, it was Zax's cunning that won the day. He feinted left, drawing the alien's attention, then swept its legs out from under it with a low kick. As the creature fell, Zax pounced, pinning it to the ground and forcing it to submit. The crowd was silent for a moment, then erupted in cheers. They had just witnessed the impossible. A human had defeated one of the arena's most feared champions. In the stands, a few influential patrons took notice of Zax's unique fighting style and started whispering among themselves. Rising through the ranks. Zax's victory was just the beginning. He continued to fight in the arena, taking on increasingly dangerous opponents. Each time, he shocked the crowd with his resilience and ingenuity. He used moves that none of the aliens had ever seen before, combining human martial arts with improvised tactics that caught his foes off guard. Word of Zax's exploits began to spread beyond the arena. Humans across the galaxy started to see him as a symbol of their potential, proof that they could hold their own against the mightiest alien warriors. In the arena, Zax became a crowd favorite, with spectators cheering his name and eagerly awaiting his next match. But not everyone was happy with Zax's success. Some of the alien fighters felt threatened by the idea of a human rising through the ranks. They saw him as an affront to their superiority and began to plot against him. In dark corners of the arena, whispers of conspiracy began to circulate. The jealous aliens were determined to put an end to Zax's winning streak by any means necessary. They started to study his fighting style, looking for weaknesses they could exploit, and they began to hatch a plan to ensure that Zax's next fight would be his last. The plot against Zax. The aliens' plan was simple but ruthless. They knew they couldn't beat Zax in a fair fight, so they decided to tilt the odds in their favor. Before his next match, they ambushed him in the arena's underground tunnels. Zax fought bravely, but he was badly outnumbered. By the time he managed to escape, he was battered, bruised, and barely able to stand. As he stumbled back to his quarters, Zax was approached by an unlikely ally, a member of an insectoid species he had fought in a previous match. The alien revealed that Zax's upcoming opponent, a ruthless warlord from a distant star system, was in on the plot against him. Zax was shocked by the revelation, but he refused to back down. He knew that if he withdrew from the fight, it would be seen as a victory for those who sought to undermine him. He decided to enter the arena, despite his injuries. As he prepared for the match, Zax could hear the crowd buzzing with anticipation. They had heard rumors of the plot against him, and were eager to see how he would respond. Some were already writing him off, convinced that he stood no chance against the alien warlord in his weakened state. But Zax was determined to prove them wrong. He had come too far to let a bunch of jealous aliens bring him down. He steeled himself for the fight of his life, knowing that the fate of humanity's reputation rested on his shoulders. The championship match. As Zax stepped into the arena, the crowd fell silent. They could see the toll the ambush had taken on him. His face was bruised, his arm hung limply at his side, and he walked with a noticeable limp. The alien warlord, by contrast, looked fresh and ready for battle, a cruel smile playing across his features. When the bell sounded, the warlord wasted no time in pressing his advantage. He rained down blows on Zax from all angles, driving him back across the arena floor. Zax did his best to defend himself, but his injuries made it difficult to mount an effective counterattack. As the fight wore on, it became clear that Zax was outmatched. The warlord was too strong, too fast, and too ruthless. Zax found himself on the defensive, barely able to stay on his feet. The crowd watched in stunned silence, certain that they were witnessing the end of the human's improbable run. But just when all seemed lost, something shifted in Zax's demeanor. A fire ignited in his eyes, and he began to fight back with renewed vigor. He dug deep into his reserves of strength and determination, pushing past the pain and exhaustion. With a roar of defiance, Zax launched himself at the warlord, catching him off guard with a flurry of rapid strikes. The alien reeled back, stunned by the ferocity of the assault. Zax pressed his advantage, hammering away at the warlord's defenses until, with one final, devastating blow, he sent his opponent crashing to the ground. The arena erupted in chaos. The crowd leaped to their feet, cheering and chanting Zax's name. In the stands, his alien ally watched with a smile, knowing that Zax had just accomplished something truly remarkable. As Zax stood over his fallen foe, battered but victorious, he knew that he had just changed the course of history. He had proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that humans were a force to be reckoned with. And he had opened the door for a new era of respect and recognition for his species. A new era. News of Zax's triumph spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On Earth and human colonies, people celebrated in the streets, hailing him as a hero. In the halls of power, human diplomats found themselves treated with newfound respect, their opinions suddenly carrying weight in galactic affairs. In the arena, things began to change as well. More and more humans started to enter the competition, inspired by Zax's example. They brought with them new fighting styles and strategies, forcing the alien competitors to adapt and evolve. Gradually, the notion of human weakness began to erode, replaced by a grudging respect for their skills and tenacity. Zax himself became a legend, his name spoken with reverence by fighters and fans alike. He continued to compete in the arena, but he also took on a new role as a mentor and advocate for human fighters. He used his fame and influence to push for greater inclusion and equality in the galactic community. As the years passed, Zax's legacy only grew. He had shown the universe that humans were more than just fragile, fleshy creatures. They were warriors, innovators, and leaders, capable of standing toe-to-toe with the mightiest species in the galaxy. And it had all started with one man, one human, who had dared to step into the galactic arena and prove that his species was a force to be reckoned with. Zax had ushered in a new era for humanity, one where they were no longer the underdogs, but the champions of their own destiny.